Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the one spot where you want to be for all the latest hockey news. And you say, well, Fiore, how could there possibly be any hockey news? We're still in the middle of... But there always is. Look, we boycotted the show for what? 1 month. 1 month. We said, okay, we're going to boycott just like the players did, but, so much is going on. And you are not getting this information from the Fraylocks in town. I don't care who you sit back and you try to read, no matter what paper it's in. I don't care who you listen to on the radio. Fraylocks, all. You want to get the news, you get the news here. It doesn't have any spin on it. Nothing from Bettman, nothing from McMillan, no spin at all. This is pure, true, unadulterated hockey news. We've been saying that for months, years, almost decades now. As we do this show, and it's growing. The legend of In the Crease and where true hockey fans go for news is certainly growing. And as always, sitting beside me is Bob Nelson. And Bob, you have perfect proof of this when you went down to see the Nailers.
Holy heck, yeah, I'm in another state here. Right. Sitting there, getting my hockey fix, figure to get out and watch Toledo play the Wheeling Nailers in November. Sitting there minding my own business, facing a bowl of nachos, little soda next to me, the missus next to me. People come up to me. They said, hey, I know you. Okay, I play men's league against you maybe? Maybe I whacked you too much? Maybe you remember that? No, you do that show In the Crease. I looked at him with a straight face and said, you follow us on Facebook? He's like, absolutely. What came out of this dad's mouth is, to the Batum. You know why I watch you? A, I want to hear what comes out of your mouth next. B, you don't sugarcoat it. Neither one of you two guys sugarcoat it.
That's right.
So the guy shook my hand and said, me and my son, his son was young, so watch what I say my language now. They said, we enjoy the show.
That's good.
So no more I put the chip down into my basket, watch him warm up. A couple other people come up to me. They said, yeah, you're that guy In the Crease. I recognize you. Okay, how'd you recognize me? I always got a hat on and you're always usually unshaved. Okay, so that's my calling card. I said to him, you know why I don't shave? Because I'm always in the playoffs. Our store is always playoff caliber show. That's why I don't shave. Because I always have my playoff beard on. So it was nice to get around the Wheeling Nailers fans, lose a couple bucks at the casino. Mm-hmm. It's nice that people are following us. Could be more following us on Facebook for sure. Yeah. I think we have up to 70 to 100 range now. I'd like to get that doubled before the year out. We always give away good prizes. Always have a lot of good things going on our website. As soon as I get to be a little bit more computer savage, we'll even have more things on it. But hey, it's your loss if you don't want to come on our site. If you don't want the real information on hockey, not just the NHL, all the hockey, then you know what? Go read the hockey news. Go read Goal Magazine. Go listen to Stag. Oh, I'm sorry. They're not on for you to listen to. They just took their paycheck like the Titanic and sunk into the river. That's my rant.
And one thing I should point out about the Facebook page, it's a public page, which means anybody can go on there and check it out. You don't have to like it to be on it.
Yeah.
So there are a lot more people.
If you're a Penguin fan, we won't hold it against you.
Yeah, we usually don't. We have some interesting fans on that site. I know we have at least a handful of Flyers fans and Devils fans on there as well. And there's even 2 or 3 Stars fans. So
we always try to give away prizes.
Yeah, we do. And not only that, but weren't you telling me that even after you left the arena, you were being recognized in the local eatery there?
Yes.
as well? For
TJ, had a little dinner. And I'll tell you what, seriously, not promoting the Wheeling Nailers because they don't give me anything. I got to buy my tickets like every other Joe. But what an event, Me and the missus tries to go down at least once a year, get a hotel room. They give us a $20 gift voucher to a couple of the restaurants down there. My favorite spot down there, my wife's favorite spot is TJ's. We had a late night snack after the hockey game. Did a little gambling in the day before. It's just a fun event. $158 gets you 2 tickets, a hotel room, and a $20 gift voucher for a restaurant down in that area. You can't beat it.
No, that's nice.
Can't beat it. Good seats. I mean, the arena's a little bit small and cozy. New arena. I mean, the Nailers are, it's okay hockey. It's not, something I wouldn't watch, but, it's okay. I mean, it's, guys trying to make the next jump. A few guys came out of Wheeling playing in the NHL, believe it or not. So it's not bad hockey. I mean, would I rate it above maybe the Ontario Hockey League or the Western Hockey League? Probably not, because those kids are one step away from being drafted, some of those elite players. Is it as good as college hockey? Yeah, I would say it's as good as college hockey.
Yeah.
But thank God and fortunate we're in Pennsylvania now. We have 2 D1 college teams and one just in our backyard. Up in Erie, you got Mercyhurst. Now in Western PA, you got the RMU Colonials. And then you go to the middle of the state, you got the Penn State College, which Eddie Olczyk's son's playing for that team right now.
Yeah.
There's another hockey player that slips my mind, local flavor. His son's playing up there also. It'll come to me probably when the show's over. But that's good quality hockey. And then, of course, you have, if you're looking for a little hockey fix, you can always go to the A. There's the Hershey Bears, which are pretty close. Wilkes-Barre, if you want to take the big drive.
Yeah.
And these hockey teams right now, they're some of the best talented there, because most of those young talented that would be on an NHL roster is now in their minor league affiliate playing.
Yeah.
So they don't get rusty.
I know I've always had a good time when I've gone down to see the Nailers. So, and you're right. You'll recognize a few names right away because they do the up and down.
Correct.
And
then you have the Johnstown Tomahawks, which is a new team that just came back into the old Johnstown arena there.
Yeah. So the hockey's there if you can find it, and I guess that brings us up to what's going on with the pros. So the whole point of that whole segment is that the legend for In the Crease is certainly beginning to spread. The word is getting out there that if you want to know what's going on with hockey, this is the place to be.
Spread like butter on bread.
Yeah, and we've been telling them that for how long now? And now finally it's starting to come to pass. Believe me, once you get hooked on the show, you're not going to want to listen to those other guys anymore because they
What other guys?
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Now we'll tell you what nobody else is trying to tell you or thinking of telling you, because I guess they're protecting their paychecks or whatever. We'll tell you what's going on with the strike update. So, before I do that, I should point out that yes, I have already started growing my playoff beer too. See, so, hope springs eternal. Say so. Usually happens in November anyway. So anyway, and I came, and you clean shaved today.
Clean
Look
shaved
at you.
today.
You caught me off guard. I'm like, wow.
Holiday season.
Wow.
Tis
man.
the season to be dressed properly.
All right. Well, in keeping with the turkeys, let's talk about some turkeys. You know, it was our last show, which I believe was back in September, when I said, regardless of what you hear, regardless of what you read, the bottom line is Thanksgiving. I said, don't believe anything until then. I said that if a deal was closed the week of Thanksgiving, there would be an abbreviated season of 45 games. And I even posted on Facebook that if there's a 45-game season, can the Stanley Cup winner really call himself a Stanley Cup winner? If you look back over the past decade, you got an 80-game season normally, 82 games, and generally at the halfway mark, the teams that are leading the league are not the teams that lead the league at the end of the season. There is a general flip-flop in most cases in most divisions. However, that said, I said there would be a 45-game season and it would start with the Winter Classic. Now, Bob and I had done a little bit of research back then, and you know, sometimes research is so simple you wonder why other people don't do it. But what we were basing it on was a simple contact with the shirt-making company. And they said, no, we haven't been told not to make the shirts. The shirts are still being made for the Winter Classic. So that gave us indication that, yeah, as far as they know, we were still shooting for it, and it was still going to go. The other sign that I told you about on Facebook, I said, watch Sid, because a lot of players are talking about going over to Europe to play. A lot of players have already gone over to Europe to play. And I said, when Sid signs, if Sid signs to play for a European team, the league's done. They're not coming back this year at all. Okay, and some of you have commented on that on the old the Facebook thing. But with that in mind, and with that as background from our September show, we have some updates. And Bob, you're the guy with the contacts.
You know what? I'm on strike.
So you're not going to tell him?
I'm not going to tell anyone anything.
Well, yeah, but are you a Fiore strike or a Bettman strike?
I'm both.
Oh, you're going to be both.
Here's why I said that, okay? It's not about the players and owners anymore. It's not about the billionaire owners and the millionaire players. You know what it's about? It's about a grudge between Donald Fair and that poor excuse for a president of the NHL, Gary Bettman. They're holding grudges against each other. That's why this is not getting done. It's I'm pounding my chest and I'm having a stance. Now, the players have a lot to lose because every day they hold out, that's every day that number that they're sharing goes down and down and down. But that stock will start rising again to the players when it comes about middle of December, because as of the middle of December, from what I was explained and what I understand, the owners start losing money. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be a big pocket to grind, when it comes to Christmas. And, Ed Snyder's grandkids want that big Porsche, and he's got to buy him a Cobalt.
Good God.
That's a big adjustment to make. Grandpa doesn't love his grandson anymore. So I think the bottom line, it will get worked out. It's amazing how you can cancel the Winter Classic, but you still not stop making the jerseys. All the hotel rooms that you booked are still not canceled.
Yeah, you found that out too. Huh?
It takes you basically 30 days to set up the Winter Classic with all the groundwork already being laid in place. Well, you can actually make ice and put that rink together in about a good 4 days, nonstop of work. Bringing in crews, paying them overtime. If they did launch the Winter Classic as their premier first game, I think most games you're going to get out of the season is going to be 40. I don't see it being 45. They're not going to go to, they might go to an even number because I think an odd number would be too hard to do it. The travel arrangements would be okay because you're going to be mostly playing in your time zone.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot less, like Pittsburgh will never play LA unless they both get to the Cup.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a little bit more easy traveling. You're going to see a lot more injuries because you're going to be playing probably almost every other night.
Yeah.
A lot of your big injuries are going to occur. The reason why you haven't seen Sidney going anywhere is because he can't get insured. No one wants to insure him. Or I do think he would be playing somewhere in Europe, probably the KHL, because Malkin's already had an in to get him into that team in Medagorsk. But I think that's the main reason why you haven't seen Sid there yet. I think the first chance they had a couple weeks ago, when Reebok was told to start producing authentic jerseys again and start getting all that revenue going for the NHL, that's when Fair and Bettman decided they were bigger than the game. That's when talk stopped. That's when they said, we're going to take 2 weeks off. Because basically there was no talk, and they were just swearing back and forth saying, you're the blame, you're the blame. Well, how do you blame Donald Fair? He wasn't involved in this up until this year.
Yeah.
So how do you blame him for doing what's right for the people that hired him?
Well, no, I heard the 2 weeks freeze-off was canceled, and they're supposed to talk again starting Monday.
They are talking.
Yeah.
They're actually talking. Now, here's the key to this. The player reps have been talking to some of the owners. Now, there's a couple owners that have a lot of power in the NHL. One happens to be Ed Snyder. The other one happens to own the Rangers. They've kind of dropped a little bit of their things because they're getting the limelight. Now, the diamond in the rough in this is Mario Lemieux. I think if Mario gets out of his shyness, because Mario has been on both sides of the barn.
Yeah.
And he was an owner and a player. So he sees both sides. I think a guy like Mario needs to get involved a little bit more to save the game. And this is why. Because he has the most credibility in that room. The most credibility that anyone. If someone would say, hey, what do you think, Mario? Mario needs to step up and say, this is what I think. He needs to sell it to the owners and sell it to the players.
I don't know if you can put that much pressure on Mario. I understand where he can see the differences here. I mean, being on both sides of the fence and what have you.
Now, do you
so
not
certainly he has a perspective, but
do you not think he can make his own ownership
I
realize that it's more important to play the game and be happy with what you're making, and then to the players saying, hey, it's your job back to the sport to get back to the sport. Now, I'll realize money's money, and we did promise you this money, But there's ways. Well, you're not making any money if you're not playing.
Right.
Everyone's got too much to lose here. I think Mario, being Mario, because Mario only speaks when he has to.
Right.
He's well respected in the game, besides by the NHL officials.
Yep.
And besides by Gary Bettman for some reason, because Mario's French-Canadian, he's not Toronto-Canadian.
Yeah.
As of Wayne Gretzky. You know, I think that's another guy that you should throw under the bus in this. Where is Wayne Gretzky at? The game gave him so much. A hot wife. Everything.
Yeah.
But you know what? What's he gave back to the game since he's been out of it?
Well, he's done a lot of commercials.
Yeah. But don't you think he's another guy that needs to get involved in this?
Well, you know, I think it really, to be honest with you, Mario can have an effect on owners who are not the top six. And we know who the top six are. You mentioned one, the Rangers and Boston and you know, those six, Toronto, those six main key owners are the ones who really control the purse strings, and I don't think that they view Mario as being on their same floor in the hotel building. Now the other owners may, and the other owners would respect him, but you know how I see it? I see it just like you've been saying all along. When we talk about a brand new commissioner and a commissioner who would know both sides of the fence, and you always mention Ken Dryden, and he's the most logical pick, but because it's logical and because it makes sense, that's why he doesn't get it.
Yeah, well,
You know, and you get
plus
some
he has a
idiot
big
like
voice.
Bettman in
He
there.
has a big voice in Toronto, and he
does.
said this should have been handled in the off season.
He's right.
He doesn't understand why we're airing our laundry in October, November, and soon
He's
to be
right.
December. He's like, who in their rightful mind has anything to lose when you have one strike? When you go and just look what affected our local community with Hostess.
Yeah.
Union bankrupt the company because they weren't willing to take a little less to keep their jobs.
That's right.
And the person another person that's going to have an effect on this. And even though Hockey News reported this will never happen, don't be surprised if a guy who used to live in Pittsburgh and owns a pretty big basketball team might start his own little WHL 2 league.
Yeah.
The World Hockey League.
Yeah.
Instead of calling it the World Hockey Association because that's still copyrighted.
Right.
He's thinking about calling it the WHL instead of the WHA.
Well, we had said this a little bit earlier on the show, and somebody like Mark Cuban is perfect for that because
How do you know I was talking about Mark Cuban, huh?
Birds must have told me.
Did Staggerwall call you?
Yeah, all the time he calls me.
I thought he was at his
He
beach
wouldn't know
house.
what to say if he doesn't call me. Anyway, they
Who would dial the number for him?
I don't know. This is probably dog or somebody. Anyhow, he wanted to get in the NHL a while back, if you remember. Even as close as that fiasco that just happened down in Phoenix. When he came in there with the BlackBerry guy wanting to take the
Why
Coyotes.
don't owners like guys like him?
Why don't the established hockey reporters appreciate us? Because we're right off the cuff. We'll tell you plain, we'll tell you the way it is. Don't play by the rules, and that makes things spooky.
He doesn't play well with others.
He doesn't.
So,
but he gets the job done.
MLB doesn't want him to buy a baseball team.
That's right.
They've been shunning him away from that.
That's right.
He would be just what the doctor ordered to break this strike because if he says, you know what, I got money, I don't care.
Yeah.
You go into his basketball locker room, every one of his players has a laptop in their stall, flat screen TV comes out from the dressing area.
Yeah, those players aren't complaining, are they?
No. So you know what?
So,
I think he'd be perfect for the game.
Yeah.
And a lot of people hate different.
yes, that's true.
They fare different.
That's
and
true.
I think if you want to shake up the NHL, you need guys like him. And I'm sure there's other guys that have money that, Donald Trump might be another name that, hey.
Yeah, absolutely. He's one. That BlackBerry guy's still floating around. I can't remember what the hell his name is. But there's about 4 to 6 guys who have said that they would, and there are talks going on now, secretly behind the scenes, where if it looks like they're going to be locked out, they being the NHL, will be locked out again. These guys have a contingency plan to come in and start up another league again. Now
here's another loophole that you don't know that I just found out very recently.
Go ahead.
The NHL players from the Flyers and the Rangers are going to do a game down in Atlantic City for the catastrophe that happened in New Jersey and the Shores.
Sandy thing?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Now, Schneider's totally against it for the wrong reasons, obviously. Not because of, help charity. He's all about helping charity because the Flyers are one of the most charitable organizations in sports, not just hockey, but in sports. So it's really to his benefit to get this moving because already signed up for that game is Hartnell is going to be the captain of the Flyers. Callahan's going to be the captain of the Rangers. Now, they've already said they've had a lot of interest in doing this charity game. They were thinking about, instead of doing one game down there, maybe doing a best of 5 and going around to all the Flyer skate zones playing a game there because they're not allowed to play in the Wachovia Center.
Sure.
I almost called it the FU Center because it used to be the First Union Center.
Right.
And there's even a couple Penguins that said they would go put on the black and orange of the Philadelphia Flyers. Like, for example, Neil said he'd play in this charity game.
Yeah, he did.
So that's really important to the scheme of things because the player owners, they can't say, hey, guess what? You can't do it. They have no contract. And if the owners come off their high horse and says, we forbid you to play this game,
oh, they'd look
then they're looking like the idiots because they're raising money for people that lost everything.
Sure.
They're things that you can't replace, pictures and lives and, houses and, So I think the NHL players are doing the right thing here. They're biding their time. I think the players union are strong right now. I think Fair needs to step down a little bit and let the players do the work. Let him step down because he's got an issue with Bettman.
He does.
Everybody
has an issue with Bettman.
He needs to get Bettman in the corner and just whip up on him and let the players and the owners get together.
Yeah.
You get both of those guys out of the room, I give it 6 hours and I have a settlement.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And, it constantly amazes me, this Svengali type aura that Bettman has over these owners. These owners are not stupid people. These are billionaires who didn't make their money by being dumb or letting somebody else tell them how to do things. These are hands-on people who have made their billions, and yet for some reason, Bettman has convinced them that he has this grand strategy that will
they
lead
like
them
Bettman?
down the primrose path.
You know why they like Gary Bettman in office? Because they're the puppet masters and he's the puppet.
And he just
They tell him to jump. He looks at him and says, "How high would you like me to jump?"
Yeah.
And you know what? He made his name in basketball.
Yeah.
What other pro sports that are always on strike?
He was an assistant in the NBA
Yeah.
too. He never
and they
was a
strike.
commissioner. Oh, that's
Basketball strikes.
yeah.
If you're talking the best organizational group in any sports, it's the NFL. They print their own money, league. And this is why I'm telling you, the NHL needs a look. If they don't want to have Ken Dryden come on board and take it, they need to look at someone in the NFL office to take the reins of the NHL, because this is why. Do you know there's more revenues sold by Tom Brady's football shirt across the world, okay, just his football jersey, than every item that's sold by Reebok, Bauer, CCM in the NHL. I'm not talking one player on the team. I'm talking the whole league's revenue in souvenirs is less than Tom Brady's football jersey worldwide.
La Machine, he's good.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that tells you. He was a 6th-round draft pick.
Yeah.
I mean, he sleeps with hot models.
Yes, he does.
Has a kid, does commercials.
Kind of like us.
Yeah, pretty good athlete.
Yeah.
But the NFL took a guy who was a 6th-round draft pick.
Yeah.
Gave him a little bit of wins, a couple Super Bowl silver trophies, and they promoted him, not United States wide, worldwide.
Yeah.
He has more sales in his jersey, just his jersey, than the whole NHL. What is wrong with that picture?
Yeah. I wish we had better news to tell you about the strike, but now you are up to speed. You know what the deal is, and you heard things here that the other Freylocks aren't going to tell you. They're not allowed to tell you. We'll tell it to you. That's how it stands.
We're still right on gap here. You said 45 games.
I did. You said 40, so we're still close.
We still think Winter Classic
be the opening
be the opening day. We also both agree that if they don't get agreement down before December 1, that we feel the season's in the tank.
Yeah, well, you gave us a little more leeway. I think you said December 15th.
Yeah, but
so sometime by the time we do our next show, if there's nothing signed.
Because there's a lot of people that are
Right.
going to be
The league's
laid
gonna
off
be
here
gone.
December 1.
Yes.
A lot of equipment
That's
guys.
when a lot of the teams say, listen, we can't hold you past December 1. So all the folks who work with that. Speaking of which, a little while ago, there was a local sportscaster who was at a local
Water hole?
watering hole. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Yes, yes, yes. Singing into his beer about how he wouldn't have a job this year. And I mentally thought to myself, you shouldn't have had a job all these years. So that was a difference. Listen, if you want to stay on top of things, you don't have to wait for us to get back into the studio. We have an awful lot of new ways to do it. Of course, the Facebook page is great. You don't have to click like to get onto that page. It's a global page, public page, if you will. But we sure would appreciate it if you picked like, because that's how we pick the winners for our contest.
Because we couldn't do love. They only do like.
That's right.
Because we did. I think that's what
We know
holds back
people would love this show.
Yes.
Damn
I
straight.
think that's what they looked at it and said, I don't like the show.
Yeah,
I love this
show.
show.
That's
I love this show, man. You're still not getting my beer, buddy.
And I have to tell you that I have to apologize. I had selected, we try to select a winner every show, and we had prizes from our sponsor, which is Play It Again Sports. And I picked out the winner, and I had the prize, and I left them both home when we came into the studio. It is my bad. I am totally sorry.
But we're going to put it up on the Facebook page.
Well, we'll put it up on the. We can do that, and I'll also announce it on the next show. So
Yes.
we'll have two winners on the next show. This way, you don't lose your airtime.
Correct.
We don't want you to lose your airtime.
But we want you to go to our Facebook
Right.
page to check it,
Right.
to see who won it.
And while we're talking about this, it's probably the best time for you to let our fans know, Bob, about our sponsor, who is Play It Again Sports.
Play It Again Sports, the last Play It Again Sports in Western PA right now. Sitting on Route 30, Greengate East Shopping Center, same plaza as the Big Lots. We're running all kinds of phenomenal sales for the holidays. Go to our website. It's www.playitagainsports.greensburg.com, or you can use Greensburg, PA.
Yeah.
Either or will get you there. We're also up on Twitter now, so you can follow our store and see all the sales and ads. Not just a hockey store. We're a sporting goods store, so for any of your hockey or sporting good needs. Our phone number is 724-834-1121. Go to our page, sign up for the email. We're going to run some special holiday sales, some coupons on there. Best coupons in the world. So again, go sign up on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Also, down the road here, I'm going to be tweeting some of the show stuff for BPTV Channel 7, as well as Play It Again Sports, because I always consider the marriage between our show, Play It Again Sports, and BPTV for giving us this great opportunity to bring you the real hockey news. Another thing in the works, Wall Goalie Mask right here. They're going to possibly be becoming a sponsor. It's a great goalie mask company based out of Finland. Actually, I'm wearing this product right now on my head when I play. We also carry it at Play It Again Sports besides other avenues like Grit Tower hockey bags, jerseys, practice jerseys from Reebok CCM. We have all the great names. So
Yeah,
again,
you really need to come to see Bob play at some of these men's leagues, because he wears this helmet and he's not playing goal anymore. He's playing defense, and it's really fun to see him wear this helmet out when he's on defense. That's it. We're out of time. We have no more time left. Once again, we've filled up the show with all the news that people need to know. So by the time we come back again next month, we should probably have some definite news for you, tell you where things are going.
will we be dropping the puck?
Hey, we can only hope, huh? Until then, on behalf of Bob Nelson, Dave, who's over in the control room, I'm Fiore. And remember that when it comes to hockey, if you're in the game, you're in the crease.
Let's get the puck out of here.
Let's get the puck.